Hello, hello. So we're here today. We are live and we are waiting for my dear friend, Wellness Whisperer, Cara. She should be on any minute now. So we'll wait a few seconds and let her join. It's going to be a very exciting day. A few more minutes. Patiently waiting. Let's see. It's going to be a good day. Come on in, folks. More of you, the better. Let me send her a message. Let's see. I'll give it a few more minutes. She should be on shortly. A few more minutes. Just a few more. Let's hang on. Okay. Let's see here. Not sure if she is able to log in. Maybe a little bit of a challenge there. But nevertheless, we'll be on soon. You're doing what I'm doing, like, this is gonna happen, right? She'll be on. Maybe we'll have to disconnect and then reconnect. Let's hope not, right? There we go. Yep, there she is. She's coming in. Now you're just going to click to join. Go live with Fem. Once you click there, I will receive you. I don't see that button coming up yet. Patience, my friends. Okay. Let's go live. Choose the option to join the conversation or to go live with Fem. Request to go live. That option should be there on your screen. Yeah, waiting a little bit more, Stas. Are you there? Let's see. Okay. You've joined. Now we're just waiting to have you come live with me. There's an option there to join the live. Not sure. It's not coming up. We look like we're having a little bit of technical difficulties today, but so Cara, on your screen, you should see the option to send a request to join. Hi. Request to join. Yeah, let's see there. Let's see. On your screen, there should be an option there. Says, okay. Okay, beautiful, beautiful view. Yay!
There
I
she
think you're
goes.
coming in. There's my girl. How are
I'm
you,
so sorry
darling?
there.
No. This whole
I'm
Instagram
learning.
situation is a real tricky one, right? If you haven't been doing this, even me, sometimes I'm lost.
Learning.
How are
Thank
you?
you.
You
Great,
look
great.
gorgeous, as usual.
Oh, you
Do you
too.
ever look back, Kara? Do you ever look back?
I just try to
Is
keep
this
up
even
with you.
possible for you? You know what? I'm like, this is girl, you're always just so gorgeous.
Oh,
It's beautiful,
you set the
beautiful.
bar.
I'm loving that too. I'll take it. So how's it going?
It's going great.
It's
I love the holidays. Yeah, it's great.
fantastic, fantastic.
Yeah,
This is my holiday cheers. I'm in. Today's just Erin's day, just cash, right?
love it.
This is cash, right?
I saw the flash of the nails.
Yeah,
Cash.
woo-hoo, you know. I'm super excited to have you. We don't need to introduce Kara. She will introduce herself. She is the holistic gangster, wellness whisperer, a dear friend of mine, and I just could not wait to have her on to just set you guys up for the holiday season and beyond. She has a wealth of knowledge that we could all learn from. So let's go. Let's dive in. Tell them who you are, Kara.
I'm um I went to school for naturopathic medicine, and I've worked most of my life with people with rehabilitation for, this and that, as a kinesiologist. And in the past, I'd say almost decade, primarily with women over 40. And what's been very interesting is, yeah, it's been quite a journey as
Yeah,
far as the differences in people's bodies, as far as aging goes, and kind of optimizing that. But I just love it. Everyone's very different, so it definitely keeps things
absolutely.
interesting. Yeah,
Absolutely. I find over 40, the bloating seems to be an issue.
yeah,
What do you think that's all about? Because I heard that so many times from other women in this kind of age category. I know that there would be some consulting to kind of figure out each
yeah.
individual, but on a general scale, what are we looking at when bloating seems to be a thing?
Okay, yeah. So with everything, you can look at the one symptom, and usually what most, if you go see somebody who's a holistic practitioner, or even an MD that's been trained maybe in more alternative kind of treatments, the best thing to do there is always to backtrack where that thread is coming from, because
Hmm.
with everybody's body, everybody's body will show various levels of dysfunction
Hmm.
with different symptoms.
Ah,
So
okay.
when you say bloating, it can be a lot of different things. Like candida, you're not digesting your food properly. Maybe there's something specific that your body's reacting to, where you might want to get an allergy panel.
Mhm.
Is the bloating combined with skin conditions? Is it giving you headaches? There's a lot of other symptoms that can kind of go along with it, that a practitioner will, based on those symptoms, try and find whatever the root cause is, and then treat that.
Ah,
Yeah,
so it's get into the root cause
yeah,
uh, before we start treating, right?
yeah, yeah. And a lot of other questions will follow up. So when you say what's bloating, it's doing the work to find out where that's coming from.
And that's why you're going to help me whip me into shape. I can't wait. The other thing that I'm finding, not only for myself, it's over a certain age, 40, like you do the same things or even more, and the weight just doesn't seem to move very easily. What
Yeah.
are some of the factors that you've seen in your practice? And again, I know there's root cause and all this other good stuff that you know, but
Yeah.
what would you say? Like, we're not the pounds are not shedding off.
Yeah.
You're doing the cardio, you're doing the weights, you're trying to eat right, but nothing's going.
Yeah. That's a great question.
Yeah.
Because I know you, you fall in a category of women who are very cortisol dominant. So that stress hormone is chronically elevated. And for some women, when it's chronically elevated over time, it almost becomes like a cortisol holding pattern. So it's
Hmm.
almost like it's because it's so elevated, it almost becomes like a locked in position.
Ah,
And there are a number of ways to get that back down. And
oh.
you're probably thinking, what, why? Like, what's the point?
I hear
Um,
locked in, and I'm like, oh my
yeah.
God.
So it all comes down to a couple of factors.
Right. Right.
It's not bad, but
Yeah.
it just takes a look at because your what that pattern is a very common pattern. It's not an optimal
Right.
pattern, but
Right.
it is common.
Right.
Um, so what that is it means that a lot of women who are very type A go-getters, who are very driven, um, the perceived threat of something going on, something going on, something going on,
Hmm.
that alone is enough to raise and elevate your cortisol levels. And over time,
Oh,
it's fine short term, but over time, when
okay.
it's always at that level, when you're always fighting, when you're always pushing, pushing, pushing,
Hmm.
without the balance of taking that time to just let yourself rest,
Hmm.
um, that's when you develop um, dysfunction, dysregulation, because there is a lack of balance, right?
Right.
So,
Right.
so what does that mean? Chronically elevated cortisol, high stress
Hmm.
over time leads to things like, for women, can be estrogen dominance, can be weight gain.
Hmm.
Chronically high cortisol leads to problems with your hippocampus, the memory part of your brain, memory storage.
Hmm.
You see things like increased fibromyalgia with women,
Hmm.
decreased pain tolerance,
Hmm.
weight gain. So
Hmm.
all to bring
Hmm.
it back to the weight management, I'd
Hmm.
say 90% of the problems that you see now can be linked back to cortisol levels in some way or another. Now for women
Right.
over 40. And
Right.
so
So
looking
that over
at that is a
40.
big key. Yeah.
So that's when so you mentioned that most of your clients, not all, but most of your clients are over 40. And are you seeing
Yeah.
this as a huge pattern?
Huge pattern. Yeah. Yeah.
Huge
And
pattern.
yeah. So it's just me. It's what are the specific problems for that person? How do we manage that? And it's really, once you manage that, a lot of the other issues start to come down with that as well. Because a lot of people too, you're looking at pre-diabetes, blood glucose regulation issues, and that again is all linked back to what the root cause is.
I feel like
Yeah.
I have some work to do.
Yeah.
I feel like I have some work to do. Here's a pattern that I'm hearing going into the holiday season. So someone comes into your practice with, weight's not moving, we've been stuck for, a period of time, nothing seems to be happening, and you go through your, consultation and whatever, and kind of figure out what the best course is to take for that individual, because it's all individually based, as you were saying, right?
Yeah.
But people are going into this holiday season all panicked, right? Thoughts on some things that you would recommend? Let's say someone like me. Let's use me, who, high stress, many moving parts, but really going into what are some of the things you'd say for me to avoid or look at or be mindful of or whatever.
Okay. So what about what about starting with just the mindfulness? and we
Ah,
won't go to the avoids because the
okay.
avoids can be specific or
Right.
general.
Okay.
Um, so
I like that you said
they
mindfulness. Let's talk about that. I like that. Okay, because that's something that we probably don't take into the equation when we're thinking about weight loss or health or okay, so let's go
yeah,
down that road.
okay. So the mindfulness comes into when we do have those indulgent moments. Okay, so with
Hmm.
the family, with the friends,
Hmm.
um, taking the time to actually enjoy, have a
Right.
bite of this, have a bite of that. It's when you're in. I something I like to use personally is to get one plate. Get one plate. Have that plate, but enjoy it. Like when you're talking with somebody,
Yes.
the chances of you eating that and then all of a sudden it's gone, you didn't enjoy it. It's like, you look down at your plate and you wonder who ate it.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
it's, I think it is important to have those things. I don't think life is, you know, everything that I try and help people with is to, so that they can enjoy their life. If you're not enjoying your life, what's the point, right?
Right.
So it is important to have those little things and actually enjoy them.
Right.
Have that glass of wine, enjoy it. Just being
Not two, not
mindful.
four.
That's
Not two,
right.
not four.
That's right. Anything more than 3 glasses of wine a week has shown to elevate cortisol, actually,
Yeah.
estrogen issues, and then also liver over time. So liver detox, that's something I would also recommend after the holidays. Don't do it during. That's just
It's gonna be
that's
a
just
waste of
mean. That's just mean.
time. Wait till
I
after
see
the
these
holidays
people
are over.
doing it, over the holidays. Just don't do that to yourself. Just enjoy
No,
it.
not a
Yeah,
good idea. So the mindfulness is something that one should
yeah,
factor into weight loss, and then
yeah.
whatever
Taking
you
the
recommend.
time to what you're doing. That's right.
Okay.
And
Okay.
actually just and that is a big shift for a lot of women. That's a
Mhm.
huge shift to actually just
Mhm.
sit and eat a meal instead
Mhm.
of running and eating on the go while you're making calls and you're taking care of the kids. That's a huge shift. And for some
Mhm.
people, it takes a long time to kind of break that habit and it takes baby steps.
Right.
But the point is,
Right.
it's better for you over
Right.
time. And that's the key is to, it's for your body now.
Mhm. What are your
Yeah.
thoughts on intermittent fasting? Because it's gotten a lot of attention
Mm,
in forever, right?
yeah.
Thoughts?
I don't think it's for everyone.
Right.
It has a lot of positive benefits, but there are certain groups, I would say, type 1 diabetics or different types of cancers that, some cancers are glucose fueled, some are fat. Um, and, people with gallbladder issues. So in certain cases, I would say that they need to do it with a physician watching.
Ah, I'm
For
glad you said that. I'm glad you said that. Let's put a pin on this
Okay.
because it's so rampant. So you're recommending, and I absolutely agree with you that first you do it with a physician because they're able to kind of tell you where you're at and what's best for you. But everyone's just jumping on the intermittent fasting.
Yeah, because for a lot of people it's easy to do, and that maybe they don't have any other variables. For
Right,
certain groups of people, I would say it is important to be careful. But for
right.
others, you can buy on Amazon or a lot of other places actually a blood glucose monitor, and you can monitor and do all of that on your own,
Mm,
which is very empowering for a lot of people because I think the things that you measure, you end up seeing differences with. So
yes.
anything that, and come back to the mindfulness, right? Anything that your focused attention is on will shift.
Mhm. Right,
So I do
right,
think that there is value to that.
right,
I like that it's uh, for some certain people that like the numbers.
right.
It's easy to track that way.
Hmm.
But yeah, that's what it comes down to. The intermittent fasting is yet another tool to regulate blood glucose levels, um, and hopefully lower your cortisol, give your metabolic machinery a break in between.
Right.
And a lot of women who say do have estrogen dominance, doing that 14-hour fast actually does help produce those ketones and lower the estrogen
Hmm.
levels. And also for your liver too. Your liver is what converts all those hormones, and giving it
Mm.
a break as well helps it function better to then maintain certain hormone levels breaking down and so on.
Wow. This
Yeah.
is so fascinating. There's so many layers that I'm unaware of. Just thinking, oh, intermittent fasting, just do it for 14 hours or 15 hours. But there's so many other things to consider before you start something like that. So I'm happy that you've kind of opened that door. Hopefully, the people that are listening and watching can learn something from there. What would you say? Do you have consistent clients throughout the year, or when is your peak hour? When is your peak time during the year? Because most people are like New Year's resolution.
Yeah.
Would you see a lot of people in January at your practice more so than the rest of the year? How do you see that?
Typically, you do see a lot of people in the beginning of the year because they have those resolutions.
Right.
I I tend to attract people that are a little bit more serious, so I tend to get the ones that are at that 99% ready to go. They just need a guide at that point.
Yes.
I find a lot of people in the new year have the best intentions, but they're
Yeah.
not, their mental readiness is not quite there because
I
they
love that word,
realize that it's going to
mental
take some work.
readiness.
It's going to take some work.
Mental readiness. I love it. Yeah. And that could be a challenge, right? And
They're not
that
ready.
is the challenge
Yeah,
most of the time. If you're
they're
not
not ready.
ready, we're kind of all
Yeah,
wasting our time.
yeah,
Not ready.
yeah.
Not
And I've
ready.
said that. I've said that to clients before. I said, uh,
How about we do this another time?
yeah, or I'll just recommend them to somebody else because they're, um, as much as you want to help people, you're
Right.
not helping them by kind of hand holding in their holding pattern. So if
Right.
they are doing they're going through the motions but they're
Right.
not actually committed, they won't
Right.
see the results,
Yes.
and it's
Yes.
it's not helping them, you know.
Right.
Yeah.
It's interesting that you said that. You usually attract, which is so powerful. Because usually you don't think, most people don't think about it that way. I think the same way you do. I
Yeah.
attract the kind of people that are like me, that are kind of in a similar headspace or going a similar direction or
Yeah.
desiring a similar same thing. So you even use that in your practice. You kind of size them up if
Yeah.
they're aligned.
It's true.
This is so, yeah. You're like, I can feel it already. This is not lining up.
Yeah.
It's not a good fit, right?
It's not. But you
It's
want to
not.
give people the benefit of the doubt
Right.
because sometimes they come in and they're not quite ready, and then they realize what it's going to take, and then they do make that jump, which is great. And I like
Right.
this. I'll hang out in that gray area,
Right.
but it's when things have been going and going, and it it takes a certain amount of preparedness
Yeah.
for those changes, and
Right.
not everyone's ready for that. Yeah, and that's okay. That's
Yeah.
okay. That's just they're just not ready. Yeah.
They're not ready and they're not the ideal client at this particular moment. They're in
That's
their
right.
holding pattern, as you call it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
I love
again, as I
that too.
said, that's okay. But I want
Right.
to work with people that are ready to do that work. And,
Right.
everyone's going to slip up and this and that, and that's to be expected.
Right.
And I embrace that. I'll help work through that. But it's the people that are kind of just there to say that they went there and that they're doing the work, and then they don't see, they're actually not, and they don't see the differences.
Right.
It's
Right.
those
And so
ones
they
that
get
I would say.
discouraged, right?
Yeah,
So
that's true.
they say they're doing the work, they're actually not doing the work, and
That's
then they
right.
discourage because they don't believe that it's working, but it's really because you're not working.
That's right. That's right.
Right?
And the finger is pointing to everything and everyone else.
Oh,
So yeah, again, it all
except
comes
this
back
way,
to the
right?
mindful.
Except this
Yes,
way.
that's right. Yeah,
Except
it's
this way.
it's the mindfulness.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm super excited for everything that you're doing and everything that's to come. If you were to drop a gem everyone who's going into the holiday season, starting a new year, what would you say? Okay, keep these things in mind when you're gathering and doing all your social whatever. And for going into January, if you're planning on going down this health and wellness path,
Yeah.
do these things before you come see me, kind of an idea. Be like your readiness, your preparedness, your whatever. You know, you drop a few gems here, but like, what would be for the holiday season? Here's my top 3 things that I would recommend, or 4 things, or whatever,
Okay.
that I would recommend. Yeah.
That's a good question.
Yes.
I would say to start with, for some people that have done intermittent fasting before,
Mm-hmm.
I do think that that's personally what I do.
Mm-hmm.
So because I've done it before, I'm not saying everybody go do this. I am just saying I know that that works for me. That if
Mm-hmm.
I'm not eating for a certain portion of the day
Mm-hmm.
and I have those my daily calories within, you know, that 6 hour window or 4 hour window, whatever your body's used to,
Mm-hmm.
then I can I can have those things, you know, the sweets and the other things that, you
Mm-hmm.
know, it's in moderation, obviously, but
Mm-hmm.
my
Mm-hmm.
body is in a state where it's not adding to now
Mm-hmm.
any dysregulation or other issues that
Right.
may or may not be there, inflammation patterns, whatever it is,
Beauty.
weight gain, those kind of things. So
Mm-hmm.
it does come down to, if I could say one thing that is like an umbrella,
Mm-hmm.
is uh, blood sugar regulation. I would say is key in a lot of different issues, inflammatory, metabolic, you know, hormone levels, all of it. I think comes down to that, and um, if you can, I guess, have moderation of the snacks that you want
Mm-hmm.
to
Mm-hmm.
enjoy over the holidays, or the drinks,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
that's key. I think people run into problems when they restrict and they can't have in their mind, and then they have to reach
Right.
for it, and then they have twice as much. So
Right. Right.
I think, yeah, giving into it, have it, enjoy it, but be mindful when you are having it, so that you're not having 5 different conversations with somebody and then your drink's gone. Sip on it in between those conversations, or just, you know, each time you take that drink, enjoy it, because
Mm-hmm.
that's what I do with
I
my
love that
training,
you
you
say
know,
that.
with the
I love
body.
that you say it. Right,
Yeah,
right. So be mindful of what you're doing.
yeah,
Intermittent fasting may work, especially if your body's already adjusted to a certain
yeah.
way of doing. Would you say people should eat before they go out, or anything like that? Because sometimes people say, have a snack before you go out. Is that really something that people do anymore? Or
Sure,
fill
sure.
yourself up before you go out, kind of an idea on healthy stuff?
Yeah, that's that's definitely true. If you're on a hungry stomach and you know, you go out and all there is are, you know, cookies and chips or whatever they have
You
there,
might end up
that
having 5 instead of 1.
that's right. That's right.
Right,
So
right,
it does make a difference.
right.
Yeah, if you do have that pre-meal, I tend to make that a protein rich meal, because you'll
Ah,
find your uh, craving for carbs goes down if it's a protein kind of rich meal.
taking
So I
that.
find
I'm taking that.
personally that's, yeah, it's a little easier to gauge. Like, you just won't crave carbs as much. You just, yeah. So I
Fantastic.
find that that's helpful. Um,
I'm sure everyone's taking that
yeah,
away today.
yeah.
And so going into the new year, I've done all the wrong things over the holiday season. I'm now ready to come see you. I'm at the
Awesome.
door, I've come in, and you're like, okay, how do you know if I'm ready?
Oh, um, that's not something that I'll just look at right off the bat. That's usually
Right.
over time. You'll see with people's patterns
Okay.
of how they're dealing and coping with things.
Right.
Um, you know, you walk through the door, I'm going to help you. So
I love it because
yeah,
you're going to help me.
that's right.
I love it. Anything else that you wanted to share with anyone? Obviously, your information will all be here, or anyone in the GTA can reach out to you, or even, do you do anything online, Carol? Do any kind of coaching?
Not currently, but I will be. That's actually something that I'm getting set up right now behind the scenes. So
Yeah.
now it's in front of the
Yes.
scenes, but
Yes.
yeah,
It's in front of the scenes. I love it. Because I was thinking about that the other day. I'm like, okay, online, where's our online stuff? And it came to my mind. So
yeah,
that I should throw that out there. And it's interesting that you already have it going in the back end.
sounds
So that's it, guys. We wanted to bring in Kara, who is incredible in her field of holistic medicine and wellness. And I will make sure that all of her information is here. She's going to be having some online coaching sessions coming soon. And as that happens, I will make sure that you have full access to everything on from the FEM side. But yeah, this was the reason we gathered today. I love you so much. Keep cozy, stay warm. We appreciate you imparting all your knowledge to us and can't wait to see you when you're back in town.
sounds great. Yes, thank you so much, Michelle.
I love you. Bye, sweetie.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.